Okay, here we go. Hi, everyone, and good morning. Thank you, and welcome to Signature West Podcast. I'm your host, Sam West from Palm Springs, California. If you live in Palm Springs or visit Palm Springs, 9 out of 10, you've been to Chill Bar and Arenas District. My guest today is Andrew and Eric Hernandez. They are brothers, and they're going to share with us their journey and their involvement at Chill Bar. And we'll also talk about their new club opening December 31st, God willing. Hi, guys.
Hey
Hello,
Sam,
How are you?
doing well.
So let's start from the beginning. Who's the oldest?
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest.
Andrew.
Okay, so we'll start with you. How far
Yeah,
apart?
we're about a year.
Okay.
Poor mom, yeah.
We're
So
Irish twins.
Irish twins, right?
so you guys were born and raised here in the Coachella Valley.
Yeah, actually
Correct.
grew up in Desert Hot Springs.
Well, okay,
Yeah,
okay. And you left to go to school. Where did you go to school?
I went to San Diego State, and Eric went to AI, the Art Institute.
Okay. And after school, what did you guys do? We'll take Eric first.
I went straight working for Marriott for the last like 12 years. And then Eric actually went. I think Eric started with Marriott during his senior year. I think Eric, you did what, 2 months of your senior year, and then went into Marriott.
Yeah, I high school really wasn't my thing. I thought I was going to be a construction worker, so I pretty much left high school for the Marriott.
So was the Marriott a coincidence for the two of you? Or was that planned, or was that like because you got in, so I'll get in?
No, I was actually when was waiting for the Marriott. I think it was pure coincidence, right? Eric, at the time, Marriott was, one of the, it was like Costco, right? Like if you worked for Marriott, it was really good benefits, really good hours, really reputable company. I was actually recruited by Homeland Security. I went to San Diego State, got my bachelor's degree in criminal justice science. And I was thinking, if in the meantime, I kind of want to be close to my brothers. I was thinking I was going to get, what time I got recruited from Homeland, I was supposed to move to Texas, and that was going to be my first post. But I wanted to spend as much time as I could with my family before I felt like I was going to have to leave the nest. And
Right.
we have another brother that works for us too. His name's Gerard. He's our project manager. But we've always been really tight, especially with my parents. It was just one of those things where I think Eric said he had such a good time at the Marriott that I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. And before I knew it, Marriott became a career for me, and I really enjoyed it. There was some things going on with Homeland. I didn't really appreciate the way they were treating human beings. So I kind of thought, that's not going to work out. And then the housing market happened with Marriott, and I went from risk management to working in the front of house, doing a bar management. Eric has always been doing, hospitality, mostly back of house, kitchen. And so I found myself, working a lot of hours, Eric working a lot of hours. And we got to the point where I think I even told Eric, like, hey, I'll even be a food runner just to hang out with you because I don't,
Huh.
I don't ever see my little brother. And so then I started becoming his expo at a lot of these country clubs just so I could hang out with him in the line while he was, orchestrating his kitchen staff what to do. And for a while we did that hard.
It's usually the younger brother that follows the older brother, not the other way
Oh
around.
no, I've always followed Eric. If once you meet Eric always has a plan, and you're kind of on his agenda. And I've always just
Except you were the late one today.
yeah, right, yeah. That's how it goes too, right? So with Eric, I've always, since we were little, my job with Eric is support, and Eric's just the one,
That's
you
very
know,
fascinating.
yeah.
Very interesting dynamics.
And so
Very
that's why
interesting.
DCH works actually so well, because I don't mind playing. I feel like as Eric's big brother, I kind of that should be my role. Is where he's very much a very passionate individual where he has a lot of these ideas that I really believe in, and my job is to make it happen.
I mean,
You
you're
know,
only a year apart. It's not like you guys
right?
are 5
No, I
feet,
know, and that's
5 feet
why it's
apart.
more.
So
That's
yeah,
why in the email I said he's more of my best friend,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So
Yeah,
I get that. I get that. So you guys really didn't live anywhere else but here to Coachella, and then when you went to school, and that's it.
right.
That's been your whole
Yeah.
life journey. So So Eric got into Marriott first, and then you followed his lead, like you said, right?
Correct.
And
I,
then and then
I
what
left
happened after that? Go ahead, Eric.
college.
Sorry.
I left the Marriott to go to college. So Andrew, he graduated a year before me, and a lot of his friends were my friends. I really never had to make friends in high school because my older brothers had all the cool friends, so I just became their friends too, you know? So once they left high school, I was kind of shit out of luck. I had no friends. So what I ended up doing was I ended up, you know, getting into the Marriott, and it was my first professional like career job where I actually pulled a real knife. And then after about a year of that, I was like, this sucks. I want to go hang out with my brother. So then that's when I went to school in San Diego and we became roommates and we lived out there for 6 years. And then together we decided this sucks. So let's go back home. And then we moved back home and then we started our careers out here, basically.
Yeah, and it wasn't that San Diego sucked. I think me and Eric both realized that, you know, as much as, you know, in high school we want to leave the desert so bad. I would have gone anywhere,
But you
you
came
know,
back.
but we came back because we realized it was home, you know, and realized that the Coachella Valley is just so untapped,
And you've
you
never
know,
had
as
any interest to go, I guess, like, I call kids, I'm probably old enough to be your dad. You never had the desire to say, let me go live in New York or like or LA or cities that are just like a lot noisier and a lot more busier.
yeah, I
To
think go ahead, Eric.
to visit short term and then
Yeah,
And come back. Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's really interesting. I
Very
think,
interesting.
Sam, it was crazy because we lived on a really, I mean, in San Diego, right? Like, there's only a few places a college student could afford, and Al Cajon Boulevard was like a really busy street out there, and you know, we got used to hearing people argue, you know, ambulances, and then the first week I moved back to Coachella Valley, it was so
Like,
quiet I couldn't sleep. I'm like, this is weird. And San Diego was not even a big city, you know, but I think it was one of
trying
those
living in New
things,
York.
right? Yeah,
I,
I could only imagine.
Yeah.
You know, it just felt, you know, like Coachella Valley just it's a small community. It really is. Like
It really is. Yeah.
we I think the reason why, you know, Deepest Cut Hospitality has actually, you know, been created is because we realize we want to work with all our friends that we've just experienced through the years of working Coachella Valley, and it's a really small
So now that
community for that.
mentioned it, what is Deepest Cut and how did that get started?
Yeah, Eric, you want Eric was actually really,
Take the lead.
yeah.
yeah. So before Deepest Cut, I had a, you know, when COVID hit, um, the country clubs pretty much shut down. I think we were the first country club to close in the Coachella Valley before COVID, and I was furloughed, and I had another company on the side where I would do catering called Fresco, and so then I started making sushi and sending it to my cooks and my sous chefs and kind of challenging them to create it, and we kind of had fun that way. And so long story short, I put a post on social media and I said, hey, anybody want to buy sushi? And I actually got a lot of replies back from people that wanted to buy it, right? So I said, okay, well, I guess we're selling sushi now. So I got my sous chef and we started, you know, doing that and putting it in a Yeti cooler in the back of the truck and making a location point, and then we would sell out of sushi. And by doing that, that's how I met Rob at Chill Bar, and I helped him get everything going so that he could open back up and sell food and alcohol because it was a requirement through the ABC to open the business back up.
And just to clarify, who's Rob?
Rob is the owner of Chill Bar.
Okay.
Rob Giesica.
Correct. And so then, you know, getting to meet Rob was actually, I say it's heaven sent because being in this industry, it's so like, and you know, Sam, you know, we were talking about this earlier. You only come across so many people in this industry that that put a that value you for who you are and not make you earn it. You know what I mean? If you say that you're a professional in this industry, a lot of people, they'll second guess it because either they've been burned so many times or it's just a brutal industry, you know. And
Yep.
one of the things that I learned quickly about Rob was just the decency that he had for professionals. I mean, he really, if you tell him you're going to do something, like 100% believes in you that you're going to do it,
And
you
where
know.
did
And
you learn how to do sushi? Like, where did that come from?
you know, my passion for Asian cuisine was always huge, right? Like that was one of the things that that I enjoyed most about the industry, and it was something that I always wanted to do. So before I started doing sushi, I actually started doing little classes with my kids to see if I could even do it myself. And then I don't know if you know it's some of
You
the Asian,
hired.
but you know it actually ended up coming out really well.
Yeah,
So
Why are you laughing?
yeah, because I remember the kids telling me like, Dio, we have sushi, and I'm like, how do you guys have sushi? Nothing's open right now.
I love sushi.
I love sushi. They do
Yeah.
too, right? They
Yeah.
were like by
but
demand.
but you know also working in the country clubs, it's like you can't just be good at one cuisine. It's a combination of other cuisines that you have to do: California, Italian, French, you know, Asian. You know, you have to entertain your customers for 6 months out of the year, and they get bored just having hamburgers, right?
Right.
Like a
And
cruise ship, huh? Just got
right,
every night has to be different.
So you met Rob, and sushi got started, and you became the sushi person at Chill Bar.
right.
Okay.
And
And
then
then what happened?
I built a kitchen for Rob there, got it passed through, you know, through the city, and then we started selling food, um, organized pop-ups so that other vendors could come in and sell. And you know, we did this cool little thing where we supported locals that were, you know, these chefs that were hurting, that were starting stuff up to get through this difficult time, and it ended up being super successful. I mean, we were really busy.
In the meantime, where was Eric? Where was Andrew? I'm just curious.
uh,
In the meantime, Andrew was working for the Marriott still, right?
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
We never got furloughed, but it was one of those things where while Eric had this other company called Fresco, which was really, I mean, if you look at the chill bar menus, it always says powered by Fresco. Fresco was Eric's, you know, like side project of him just finding his creative out. Um, and we would do, you know, just small consultant jobs as far as trying to get people started. And, you know, one of the things I would do for Eric, because I had that you know, food and beverage leadership background, was that I would consult whenever it involved front of house. So Eric called me and said, you know, Rob needs a food and beverage manager, you know, and we don't really know, he doesn't really know what's required or what would be a competitive start to get someone that was, you know, really good for what you would
How
need for chill, right?
how long at that point? How long had Chill been open for? It's been a while.
Almost about almost a year.
So they
From
were fairly
pandemic,
new.
right?
They were fairly new to the world of
Oh no, chill has been,
Oh,
well,
for about 6 years.
yeah. But Rob has been the owner for, I don't think he's been total 6 years, right, Eric?
I think he's been the owner for 5 years.
Yeah.
okay. Continue.
So Eric calls me and he says, hey, you know, I really want you to come, you know, meet Rob. Like, you know, and with when Eric, like when you talk to Eric and you know he's really excited about something, you know, it's like, okay, all right, I'll do it. But then I really, you know, I was like, I've never heard of Chill Bar. I've never really been on Arenas Road. So I go there and meet Eric, and Rob, you know, is actually, you just feel it, you know, you feel energy from people. And I just thought, you know, this is why my brother's excited. This guy's, you know, really easy to talk to. And even though my intentions weren't to really take a job, I kind of walked out with the job, you know, and I thought,
That's how it happens, doesn't it?
right,
Yeah.
you know, and the
Uh-huh.
way the Marriott is though, Sam, and I think it's kind of like this for a lot of people, is when you start working for these like corporate giants, you know, it, and you're drinking that corporate punch, it's scary to leave, you know, and you
But
don't
you're
even know why.
you under the Kool-Aid. Well,
Yeah,
I call it the
yeah.
IV. You've got the
Well,
IV,
yeah, well, it very much becomes your identity because you
right?
start talking like these
And you
people,
feel the
right? You
comfort
start
zone and you
dressing
cannot
like
leave
these
it,
people.
right? You get the
Yeah,
benefits, you've got the 4K whatever plan, and
right. And
you're by yourself.
I think COVID was the you know, sobering drink for me, where I thought, you know, as much as Marriott's a good company and everything, at the end of the day, for Marriott, it is about the bottom line. And during COVID, you know, when I saw everyone you know, getting furloughed. And it was almost like Black Friday on that housing crisis where you saw people getting called into HR and then walking out with all their stuff. And it's like, whoa, what's going on? You know? And I found myself leading a security team at the JW here in Palm Desert with like 3 people overnight for a 900 room resort. That's scary, right? It's like, what are we supposed to do if something happens? You know, there's a lot of people trying to come in and steal stuff. So when that happened with Eric, I thought, you know what, I think this is time for me to just, you know, go towards small business and see what, you know, Eric's doing. I think luckily for Rob, it was again chasing that idea. I want to work with my little brother, you know, and this would bring us closer together because he was spending so much time at Chill. And that first year we got started, Eric and I just hit the ground running. Like there's a big difference between managing, you know, a bar and then managing a food component. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. Food is a very hard dollar manage.
Right.
Yeah. So I think we talked about this, Sam.
And
it's like you were like, you guys are crazy.
Oh, I was just telling your brother, but we'll get to that in 2 seconds. So is Deepest Cut?
So I think the first year went so well, where Rob and his husband Bill, and then another partner named Randy, which used to be the GM for the Barracks and the Eagle. We all got together, and I was already looking at Eric like, hey, we should do this for ourselves.
Right.
You know, like if I could live at Chill and have no problem because of that crazy work ethic that I usually get and workload from the Marriott, coming to small business, it just seemed normal to me.
What do you mean by do it for ourselves, and what did you mean by that?
Like the idea of having, you know, really just taking that big leap and starting our own our own restaurant.
Okay.
I said to you earlier, Sam, Fresco had always been something that I had. Originally, it was a meal prep company that I did. Excuse me, hold on. Originally, it was a meal prep company that I used to do for some of the homeowners from the country clubs that needed, you know, that had dietary restrictions and they needed help with their food. But it would always, I never prioritized it because I was always so busy, and being an executive chef at a country club was my first priority, right? So once COVID hit, it kind of gave me the energy that I needed to say, I don't have an option. I'm in a corner here and I need to start my own company, and this is the perfect time to do it, right? Okay. And so I was always consulting. I had built commercial kitchens for clients in the past, and throughout my experience of working in country clubs, I've, you know, done nothing but startups. My whole professional career out here has always been doing startups. I helped open Asina. I helped reopen Indian Canyons Golf Resort.
Oh, wow.
Right. I helped reopen Desert Island, which turned into the S across from the Annenberg Estate.
You have quite the resume.
Thank you. Yeah.
He started young.
Yeah.
He was like 22 working for Awaka into Indians.
How old is he? How old are you?
I'm
35. 36. Eric's 35. Yeah.
Okay, I thought you said 22. Okay.
Well, I became an executive chef at 22. Yeah. Years old.
Good for you. Good for you.
And so, yeah, I never was able to prioritize everything. And it's just like every time I did these things, they took a part of my life that I never really got back, you know?
Right.
And so meeting Rob, he told me that he wanted to work on this project called Reforma, where he wanted to have a restaurant and a nightclub. And immediately my eyes lit up and I thought, shit, well, now, you know, it's not just about doing sushi anymore. And so then I told them what my plans were, which was to have like a hospitality management company / consulting company. And then collectively, Andrew was, you know, he had already started with us. We have another partner, his name's Randy. And Rob and myself, we kind of got together, and Rob was just like, hey, instead of doing Fresco, we can still do that, but what if we start, you know, a whole new management company and, you know, manage Chill Bar and Reforma and kind of create this way of being able to do this with other people on a bigger platform. And immediately I was just, you know, all for it. I said, yeah, I think that's a really great idea. And then that's how Deepest Cut was brought up, basically.
So for the ones that are listening and you don't know, you mentioned Reforma. Let's just define, now the cat is out of the bag. What is Reforma?
So Reforma is a restaurant, bar, and nightclub in downtown Palm Springs. Right, the nightclub will be able to have about 650 people. So it's the biggest nightclub in the Coachella Valley that's opening up with a state of the art sound system. All of the sound systems, you know, the latest and greatest speakers from Pioneer. The lighting is strong enough to put a hole in your jeans.
Yeah.
and and then we're adding an expansion to hopefully fit another, to have a total of about 720 people in there. And then of course the food component is going to be something that we don't really see out here, which is Pan Latin, a very refined version of Pan Latin cuisine, where you can kind of taste all parts of Argentina, Peruvian, parts of Mexico, some Cuban influence in there as well, and also have really good drinks that kind of put all of that ambiance and that whole experience together as well.
So let's look, because I saw the space. Andrew walked me through it, and it's insane. So
Yes.
you went to Chill Bar, because I remember I went to Chill Bar for the first time during COVID, and I don't think there's much of a kitchen to begin with. It was like maybe
No.
what do you call that? An oven top, a stove top where you make like maybe a burger.
There's no gas. You're right. There's no gas at Chill Bar. That was probably one of the biggest challenges that I had there, was creating a kitchen at Chill Bar that could be passed through the inspector with no hood system, that can accommodate the style of food that Rob wanted, which was similar to food that you can get in San Diego or LA, but also work with the space, which is having commercial appliances in there, electrical appliances in there.
Right.
You
went from that to a 14,000, I believe, is it 14,000 square feet? Can you space?
10,000.
10,000? Okay, it's a lot.
I
10,000
think with the
square feet.
addition, with the addition, does it go even more than that?
No, yeah, we're about there, 10, 11,000 square feet.
So you went from that to 10,000 to, a full kitchen. I saw the kitchen, by the way, to the dance floor, to I think the lounge where we can have private parties. So
Right.
what's the vision for you guys and for the whole group taking this forward?
Yeah, I think, Chill Bar, it's basically Chill Bar blueprint, and Chill Bar, business model. It just had a way larger scale. And what we learned with Chill Bars, there's actually a demand, and the demand is really just not a certain group. The demand is just celebrating human and having a place to do that, right? So the way Reforma has been designed is that we could always provide the party or the event, but given the way Palm Springs is still a little more seasonal, it's getting better, but I would still say it's very seasonal. So we designed Reforma so we could turn things off and still be able to facilitate such a large space, right? So yeah, so we could scale down Reforma as much as we need to and still be successful. The idea is that when we need to scale it up is more of the limitations we've had in the past. And now this is why when I mean, I don't know if you remember, Sam, but when I describe Reforma, it's like you're meeting Eric as Willy Wonka and then Reforma is the chocolate factory.
Right, right.
You really gotta go in there to believe what's going on,
I got lost in the process somewhere.
Yeah.
No, and I think Rob, I mean, with his life experience and his professional experience, I think he's done an amazing job, putting Reforma together and designing it. It really is. I think Andrew nailed it. I mean, nobody really understands what it is until they go there and they see it for themselves, and then they're like, "Holy shit!" Right?
No, I've been around, and like I said, I've been around a lot longer than you guys have, and I've seen it all. And it's a pretty nice space.
Yeah. I think Palm Springs needs it, right? I think Palm Springs is getting back to the point where, we're getting a lot of LA market traffic, and I see that's what we see during the weekends at Chill. We just don't have the space for it, unfortunately.
I was telling Eric earlier, I owned a restaurant years ago in Cat City, and I've been, I I've dated a manager of a bar, a very known bar in LA years ago, and it's an intense lifestyle.
Yeah.
You have to love it, and I mean, you have to be married to it. Not just love it; you have to be married to it. So, what's the secret? You both are already married. I think one of you is married.
Yeah.
I think.
I think we've both just had this conversation the other day, huh, Eric? I think we realize we're workaholics. I think
Well, that would do
even
it.
if we wanted to turn it off, we can't,
That would do it.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of these things where a lot of our management team has, is people we've worked through with the years, and I consider them more my friends than I'll ever consider them employees. And I know that's a scary thought to be like, you hired your friends, but for me, they've been my friends because, like family, they supported me in the tough times, and they've been there for me when I really needed them. I feel like for me to have DCH, it's really that opportunity where not only are we providing, a place where all these professionals that did really good in the Valley always said, man, I wish this company would be able to let us do this, right? DCH is that. And the also idea where we could partner with people in our community like you for this charity event that we have on Sunday.
Which, by the
And
way, thank you very much for doing that.
yeah, no, you're welcome. And really just pull each other up. Like Rob, seeing two brothers and trusting them the way he has, I feel like that's kind of where we have to go as a community, right? We have to, one hand pulls the other.
Which brings me to my last question, and either one of you can take it. Why? I guess now I understand it's more organic, but I still want to hear it. You're very invested in the nightlife and the culture of the LGBTQ world. And was that an organic decision, or was that something that now that you're into it, you want to even expand, as opposed to why not, a strip club in Vegas?
Right.
Yeah.
No, I think we've had a lot of conversations about this too, because if you would have asked me this when I first got into the industry, and you would have said that, hey, I was going to be, you know, becoming an icon in this, in as you said, this lifestyle. I think the conversations Andrew and I had, you know, we're minorities too, right? Like we've encountered a lot of challenges in our career based off of the way we look, the way we talk, where we came from, and it's not ever something that has sat well with us. And we want to express the fact that we believe in humanity and we believe in equality.
And you froze.
Oh, he froze. You froze, bro. That was such a good speech, dude.
He's back.
He's back.
Where did I? He's on
Equality.
It was done. It was done. It was on point. It was on point.
Yeah. Believe, and we believe in equality, and we believe in respecting human beings. We believe in, in humans, and that everybody should be treated like humans, not like things or labeled with, this or that. And being able to start a company where we decide what we want and what's best for the people that work with is kind of a dream, right? Because we've worked for corporations and we've sacrificed for corporations, and it never really got us what we were sold on, right?
Do you find it different? I mean, I would imagine it is completely different from where you came from, like world of difference from the Marriott, from the corporate world, from the nightlife at the Marriott, from all of that. It's completely different. Would that be true?
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
100%.
Right.
Yeah. Marriott would turn right in the face in some of the stuff we do, right?
Right. So,
But at the same time, that's kind of, I mean, that only makes you feel, more motivated to what we're doing, because to what we're doing, I think one of the biggest, I, looking back into that first year at Chill, because it's so crazy with like pandemic and then just like a flood of business and stuff. Seeing people that truly just felt like I felt in my heart were allowed to be exactly who they wanted to be.
right.
I mean, that you see that, I don't care who you are, when you get that sense of freedom in someone, I mean,
you guys do
you're in the right place.
You appreciate it. I mean, I think
Yeah.
other people, and I've worked with gazillion different people from different sexes, from different genders, and I can see the discomfort. Or yes, I love you, but there's like, but I don't want to really sleep with you. There's all of that
Right.
going on.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you guys do see and feel the appreciation for the excitement, even though you're not anywhere close in your world of what they're
I feel
capable of.
like I'm a guest on arenas. I feel like there's a healthy respect of knowing that there's a straight manager at Chill. For me, it was one of those things where afterwards I started having these conversations with my 11-year-old, telling her like,
Really?
I think I've realized, Lola, like the hardest part of being an adult is just being able to be happy, right? Finding your happiness, right? Because that's what I feel like going through all these people that I met in the Marriott and all the sub companies that worked with us and partnered with us. A lot of the people I encountered when you're like, man, that guy's a dick to work with,
Right?
was really just because
Right?
he wasn't.
Right?
And it's like,
Yeah.
what do you do? You're the only one in control of your happiness.
Yeah.
At
But it's
Chill,
very common in that big corporate
yeah,
world. I mean, you go
right,
to a place
right,
like, Chill or the new club, you're gonna find it's still a business, but it's a little more of a, smaller, quaint.
right. So with,
Yeah.
with Chill, like Rob has designed this branding of like celebrate diversity.
University. Yeah.
So for me, I feel like my place at Chill is that I get to facilitate, this party of which is celebrating being human. I don't feel like I'm not wanted at Chill or by the community. I say guest because I feel like there has to be a healthy respect for that,
Of
you know.
course. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, though, I feel very much at home.
I
I
think
Yeah.
do.
your
I
parents raised you very well. I
oh,
think your parents raised you very well. That's just what it comes
thanks,
down to.
Sam.
And that really is. Yeah. You guys, thank you
Our
so much.
parents
Go ahead.
are go and hang out at Chill Bar too, so they're very
Really?
supportive. We wouldn't be where we're at without them. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
100%.
No, for sure. And you have a third brother, and where is he involved? Is he involved in all this, or is he like a guest watching from the sideline?
Yeah. No, our third brother, he's actually the oldest. So I'm the middle one and Eric's
Ah,
the
okay. And how
youngest.
far apart is he from you?
He's 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like he's more of like a very free-spirited
He
soul.
doesn't follow you like you follow Eric.
Yeah, no.
He doesn't follow you.
He's actually always kind of done his thing, but he's really good mechanical wise. He's the guy that fixes everything we break.
So,
So he's involved.
so
Yeah,
you
he's
can
involved.
tell him that he's really good with his hands.
Yeah.
Good. That's a good thing. Yeah. So is he like a full
Now,
time with the he's a full time with you guys like, with the two clubs with the new one and
oh yeah, he has to be. I mean, I don't think anyone understands that things that Chill, or even in nightclubs, like we threw that construction party at Reforma.
which I heard went very well. Gay party.
Yeah, went really well, but man, it went through the meat grinder in just 2 nights, So we had to patch up walls and there has to be someone for that. And luckily for us, it's our older brother. We could be like, hey, just fix it.
So is
You
he
know?
seeing the project being finished? Is he part of the construction for the new one?
Yeah, he's the project manager at Reforma
Okay.
right now.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
He's the guy if you ever see a black Chill Reforma truck with a toolbox in the back, that's our older brother.
That's him.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Give
Well,
him a,
I'm looking. Go ahead.
go ahead and give him a hard time too,
Why?
because he's the older brother. They
Oh. Well, I'm looking forward to the new opening, even though I'm not really a club person anymore. I kind of retired from that scene, but I will definitely stop by and see it. Are you
Yeah,
on
definitely.
time for New Year's? Is it on
Yeah.
time?
Yeah.
Because when I saw it when like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was about 2 weeks ago.
Raw. It was pretty raw.
Right. Yeah, it's still pretty raw.
And
I
that
mean, if you were to
basement.
go,
And
if
that
you
basement.
yeah, that basement's now tiled. So if you were to go right now, I mean, it's amazing what,
Really?
3 crews, 4 crews, working on top of each other could really do in a matter of a week.
It's amazing.
Does it mean that we just leave it alone and it happens
No,
by itself?
no,
Absolutely
no,
not.
I know.
Yeah, that you have to be there every day.
No,
So
I get it. I totally get it. All right, boys. Well, thank you for this and congrats again.
Thank you,
And
Sam.
thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing it in person. And the best of luck to all of you. You guys work your asses off, which I know it's not easy, but we're young.
Right.
And for the listeners, you've heard this whole story now. Now go support these guys. Like I said, most of us here have been to Chill Bar at least once. So now we have a new place to go to. And please subscribe and stay well. Take care, everyone.